You might have been scared off playing this amazing game because of online talk claiming this game is on par with Dark Souls, all because of the difficult parry mechanic. But I promise, it's all exaggerated, and it's absolutely possible to beat and enjoy the game without exerting any effort on learning how to parry. I am the living proof. I don't usually play these types of games, I usually play strategies and survival games with base building elements, so dodging and parrying do not come to me naturally. In fact, I probably ate 70% of all enemy attacks straight to the face, and I still had an amazing time. I didn't die as much as you would think. My secret? Not even trying. When you try to parry in this game, the margin for error is small. If you mess up, you take the hit. If you miss a lot, you spend a lot of time repeating the same encounters, and that quickly turns into frustration. On the other hand, dodging gives you more leeway. The hitbox is more forgiving, and you're more likely to avoid damage even if your timing isn't perfect. For each time you're attempting a parry, you are wasting an opportunity to land a dodge. Even if you're bad at it, say you land dodges only 10% of the time. If you tried to parry instead, you would parry less than 5% of attacks. The difference seems small, but it adds up. It means fewer rage quits, less time watching cutscenes, and way more time actually enjoying the game. They say perfect is the enemy of good, and good is good enough for me to enjoy a good game. But that's not all, right? Surely you can't just ignore a core game mechanic like that. Surely you'll still die a lot if you only dodge 10% of all attacks. Well, keep on watching. It's all about the mindset. If you're the kind of player that gets excited by having to parry, then you'll know this video is not for you. If you're someone who knows what they like, and this mechanic is not it, but you still want to give the game a chance, you're going to want to be honest with yourself from the start. Build your characters for the player you actually are, the imperfect person that misses most of their dodges, and not for the person that you might feel pressured to be. Prepare your characters for getting smacked around early on, when you don't yet have recodes to reset your skills or attributes, and you'll have a much better time with this game. What I did at the start was put all the skills into vitality and defense. I didn't think about character specializations or anything, my main goal was having them survive long enough to outlast the enemies. This strategy should work well for you too up until the first boss, where you might struggle. That's fine, there's a trick up your sleeve. The game revives all the enemies when you rest at a flag, so that's what you'll do. You'll get rid of the enemies, then rest at the flag, and then clear the area once again. Just don't waste your tints because you'll need them to fight the boss. If you're running low on health, just go and rest at the flag again. You'll farm the mobs until you get to level 5 or higher, and once you've put all those new stat points into vitality, you should be ready to face him. After you beat your first boss, it becomes harder to coast on vitality alone. You'll want to start using deliberate strategy and think more about skills, status effects, turn order, and synergy between your characters. For example, there's 3 pictos that apply to free aim. The pictos that marks the enemies for increased damage, the pictos that increases base attack damage afterwards, and the pictos that applies burn. You'll want to equip these on the character that goes first, and then use the free aim only with that character, not forgetting to aim at the weak points of all the enemies, not just one. Remember that you expend 1 AP when using free aim, so this character will have to use the base attack. Then, equip another character with the critical burn pictos that increases damage in burning enemies, and pick them off one by one. You'll notice that you're cutting through enemies like butter. First, your enemies receive a lot of damage from the gun, then the mark status effect makes your enemies take more damage, and finally the burn finishes them off. The burn specifically is ridiculously powerful in this game. You can stack it to seemingly endless amounts, and the more burn the enemy has, the more damage it takes. In other games, you might have to be cautious about applying the same status effect twice on the same enemy, but not here. The burn might actually be your single greatest ally when you don't parry, because it applies damage outside of your turn, often killing enemies before they even get to attack. And that's actually the whole gist of it. Each fight is a battle of endurance. Your goal is to shorten these battles as much as you can, and win before your health points and tints run dry. To achieve this, you must also not forget to always attack first, and when dealing with bosses, take note of their weaknesses. so that if you die, you can adjust accordingly. For example, if your enemy is weak to electricity, prepare electric attacks and equip an electric weapon. Like in this case with Luna, I had the Minerim, which I obtained through a side quest, which I found because I was clearing the area to level up. Speaking of side quests, even though I'm encouraging you to fight everything you find, I must warn you that there are consequences to attacking these harmless guys, so think twice. If you take it as a rule to never avoid small enemies and even seek them out, and get all the extra loot and XP from them, you will have enough stats to throw into your characters and many different pictos and weapons and upgrades and promos to create useful combos, and make it significantly easier for yourself to get through the bosses. I'm serious. You either spend 4 hours stubbornly trying to beat a boss, or you spend 20 minutes beating up scrawny kids and taking their lunches, so you grow bigger and can take on the big guy. Also, don't forget to use Luminas. They're the reason Expedition 33 is expected to succeed after all. They're extra pictos that don't take a picto slot, unlocked after you've kept the pictos equipped for a few battles. They give you another layer of bonuses and flexibility, especially useful if you're building around survivability and status effects. Even if you feel like the pictos you found is not the best for you, still equip it for a few battles with the small enemies, let it become a Lumina. It might be nearly free for you to equip it as a Lumina, and every little bit helps. This one, for example, costs just 1 Lumina point. As you play the game and find more and more pictos, you'll feel you need to get more and more Lumina to enable all of them, for all of your characters. And that's something that you can farm, just like you did with XP in the beginning to beat the first boss. Or you could buy them from merchants, or better yet explore the world. After all, there's also the overworld map to explore. But here's the catch. The more you explore, the more pictos you find, and the more Lumina points you will need. So you will have to choose, but rest assured, there are plenty of pictos that enable parryless or parry-light gameplay. As you progress through the game, you will start to notice that you are getting better at dodging. Great! If you followed my advice, it will have come to you naturally and effortlessly, because you enjoyed the game while giving your brain time to adapt. It's a neat little trick, and I hope it works for you. Still, some enemies might appear hard to take down without parrying. Once dodging is like second nature to you, you'll feel confident enough to give parrying a try, and this time it won't be such a struggle. It will be exhilarating because you will have grasped it at your own pace, and the occasional stumble won't break your stride. All thanks to the foundation you built. Take it one step at a time and you'll enjoy the game so much more. It is worth it, and you can do this.